How is going? I won't swear. I can't even open my beer with my arm. These delicious Powers beers. The lid's too tight for my freaking arm. Been working hard, tying steel all day. How is going? We got Keanu Reeves in the comment section. Thanks for joining us. We got another Thirsty Thursday. Look at me in my libertarian shirt. John Ruddock, the New South Wales Libertarian State MP, he's been pushing to make it legalize us, make it legal for us to have a beer in like parks and beaches. I think that would be reasonable. We've got special guest Tim Wilms tonight. Tim, how you going, mate? It's been a while.
I'm good, thanks, Dusty. Yeah, it has been a while. Well, you came on my Wilms front earlier this year, but we used to do Thirsty Thursday in 2021 for a couple of weeks, but then we sort of we lost touch.
We lost touch, but we're back. We're back in good mates again. Good enough until I pissed him off, and no, I've never pissed you off, I don't think.
Remember that time you invited on some random US Proud Boy and he shot his gun on live.
That was what's his name? Roots Calhoun. He wasn't a Proud Boy. He was just a random mate that I met. Like he was a fan of Revenge of the Sis.
And then he said the N-word as well.
Mate, Roots is an absolute fucking legend.
I was not expecting that to be on a.
Can't you say? I guess we can't say the N-word right now because we're on YouTube, but we're live on. We should be live on X. This would be the first time.
Aren't we just on Rumble? I didn't think there was
Rumble, YouTube, and X.
You're on YouTube.
We are on YouTube, but I said I was gonna I'll cut the stream after 10 minutes. So there's a link. If you are on YouTube and you're watching, looks like the X is actually working. That's good. Elon Musk, you've done well. Thank you, X, for having us. We will be cutting the stream to YouTube in like 10 minutes. If you look in the description under the YouTube, there'll be a link to the Rumble. So go to Rumble because we can't say, or just banter and talk freely and have a laugh and say things that, the precious people will get upset or, nuke my fucking YouTube account, which I don't really want to lose that archive of old shit that I got up to.
You're supposed to save it all on a hard drive like I do.
Fuck that. I'll just run with it. I fucked up with my TikTok. I had awesome content on there.
I thought you said you weren't going to swear.
I can't swear the first word that comes out of my mouth. You know what I mean? Now we're like a few minutes in, I can swear my head off. No free speech on YouTube. That's it. Is it YouTube, Tim?
I've heard that didn't you? One of your old mates. What was he? He was that New Zealander. He called it.
Yeah.
What was his name again? With the mullet.
The young lad with the mullet. I forget his name. He was a legend. I had a bit of an international little thing happening at the start of my YouTube live streaming career. That guy was he was out of it, and I appreciated that dude. He had his theories about the Jews and the way things are going, and we could have a laugh. And at the time, YouTube were pretty tolerant to our conversations.
Well, that was when they just took Alex Jones off YouTube. But I remember during the COVID lockdowns and mandates, if you mentioned anything that was negative towards the the V, then I almost lost both the Wilms front and the Unshackled channel just because mentioning even just sharing Jared Rennick in Senate estimates asking about a potential vaccine death in a little girl that got removed, like playing something from our parliament got taken down on YouTube.
That's wild. Rihanna Keeves has said YouTube's gotten way stricter now. All they want is kids doom scrolling their videos. That's horrible.
There's already a super chat from fellow comrade.
Where
Can
the
you see
fuck? No, I can't see. How the hell come I can't see this?
it might not come up through the
Is it in the hey, here we go.
actual Rumble.
Yo, fellow fart super chat for the boys. There you go. If you need to drop your guts, that's $5 for you, Tim.
Yeah, he is a big fan of Flatulence, fellow comrade. Although Joel Davis, after a while, refused to read out his fart super chats. It wouldn't be a good sport. So he sent a $5 over our way.
You. That's takes me back to remember when I used to have a beer bong strapped to my wall and I'd do $5 beer bongs. That was the good old days. Lucky Lance. I mean, like, I guess like the meat of the conversation we really want to get into tonight is like we've been getting like, look what's happened in the UK. It's like police brutality, essentially. People are getting locked up. This is, if we look here, this is a mate of mine, Danny Roscoe. He's a, I don't know, Jamaican, English bloke. And he was, I guess he's Tommy Robinson's mate. It's his birthday today. So happy birthday, Danny Roscoe. 44 years old. I reckon he looks pretty good for 44 years old. But he's been telling, he's in a private chat on Twitter, and he's been telling me, you know, it's one thing to like hear how people are getting locked up for doing Twitter posts in the UK, and you think like, oh, that's, you know, maybe that's bullshit, you know what I'm saying? But when you have a mate who goes, it's real, bruv, people are getting locked up for putting a fucking tweet out, you know what I mean? This guy's he's a, like, you know, black guy who is anti-immigration, pro-British. He wants Britain to be for the Britons, you know what I mean? And he's had enough. He speaks his mind. He has for years. And he was like, he was expecting to get locked up for his birthday. He didn't. It's his birthday today. He's survived. But we've also seen like the National Socialist Network in Brisbane last weekend.
Yeah, your city.
They came to town. They were in town. They had a decent turnout, and they like got, from what we could see, it's like they got harassed by the police pretty badly. Apparently, one of the guys got injured in a, I don't know, a confrontation.
Yeah, when they tackled him to the ground because he tried to run away. So yeah, he ended up in hospital.
I think I seen that on the Noticer page. It would probably be pretty deep.
Yeah, I covered it at the top of my Tim's News Explosion on Monday. Obviously, that police brutality. I didn't know that he was severely injured, but yeah, the one who was pushing Joel Davis and Thomas Sewell as saying your views are offensive.
Mm-hmm. So here's the turnout: Free England, Australia for the white man. Brisbane City, what a great turnout. I totally agree. We need to free England. And they were like treated horribly, which it's like, for myself personally, I've been doing man on the street filming protests for 4 years now for Censored TV. And I probably did maybe a year or two before that on and off. And I've never come across any problem with the police. it like right now. So a month ago, I was at Albanese's dinner, and there was
which what is it? The Antifa, through their posts, they're trying to imply there was some national security breach, that you could have threatened the lives of Elbow and Stephen Miles. You far right.
Oh, I'm an out of control person who's there. Like a mate of mine. So the story goes, I'll tell you what happened. A mate of mine, I'm the member of I'm in the Libertarian Party. I go to my local branch. A mate of mine, he's now my mate, left Labor and joined our party. He had to resign from Labor. And the Labor branch he's a part of was like, no, come to dinner with Albo. We want you to come. Here's 3 tickets. And he said, can I bring anyone I want? And they're like, yeah, you can. Give us the name of the people you want to bring. He did. I've got all the emails. I got my ticket fair and square through a mate who was at the time he was a member of the Labor Party. So we got there fair and square, and I'm telling you this: the left-wing Marxist Palestinian people protesting it were crazy, insane. They were like pushing, shoving, spitting at, swearing, abusing elderly people like Labor boomers. It was intense. It's crazy that Albanese and Labor has just swept this under the rug. So, like, essentially right now, Antifa is treating the radical Marxist Palestinian movement is treating average Labor people as though they are the National Socialist Network. Like, they are going Burko crazy.
Oh yeah,
like,
they're rage filled.
There was no respect for like elderly people with like Zimmer frames,
No,
walking sticks, a lady pushing a pram in with a baby, like megaphoning a baby.
Did they
It was
do
the most
the
disgusting thing I've ever seen.
Did they do the usual chant? You can't hide. You're supporting genocide.
It probably was like echoed all night.
I just
long.
sent you in the private chat the link to the White Rose Society's thread on. So if you can share that, that's good for a laugh.
Present. Where are we? There we go. Yeah, so I've made it. Here we go. Do I pull that up correctly?
But you're finally an Australian citizen, so they can't.
I'm finally an Australian citizen. I was like laying low.
Go out now after this national security breach.
Yeah, they can't kick me out. Like I went to this Albo dinner. I got my ticket fair and square. I made an amazing entry. Like you've probably seen the video. Like I walked in on my own. Old grannies hit us up like, can you guys please walk us in the building? It's a bit frightening. And we're like, what the fuck's going on? We're like, yeah, sure. And then I was like, right, guys, take the grannies around the back. I'll go through the front because they're going to probably recognize me and probably be a bit more dangerous. So I'll go into my own. I went in, they're going mental at me, and I just ripped down the sign, shoulder barged my way through, knocked over. They did like that typical soccer player, fall over.
Oh yeah, they're great at that. Oh, because they want to claim oppression and police or fascist brutality.
Yeah, it was like I just like ripped our sign down, barged through, walked up the stairs, turned around, and I was like, yeah, like staunch as fuck. It was like out of an action movie. It was sick as. Then the cops swarm in front of me and stop these like Palestinian Arabs. They was like going off. So we went like had a grand entry. That was fucking sick, and it was an all right dinner. You know what I mean? Nothing really to. The people in the Labor dinner were fine people. They were keen for a chat and a laugh and a bit of banter, and there was nothing really like spectacular about it. I was straight up talking to everyone in there, like all the MPs, the people organizing. I'm like, yo, I'm Dusty Bogan. I work for Sensor TV. Nice to meet you. Would you like an interview? And like everyone was like, yeah, mate, sure. Soon. I'm just a bit busy right now. Everyone was super friendly. It was so like I was honest with them who I was and what I was doing there. And anyway, these spastics from the typical Antifa, White Rose Society, which are like social justice warrior, freak weirdos. These are the main guys who will like build a little gay profile about you, spin up some crazy story. I reckon they send it to the police and they try to like, oh.
Well, they also send it to the mainstream media as well, and providing them basically like doing their jobs for them for free. These multinational mainstream media conglomerates, although The Age is a Australian company, Nine Entertainment Co. But yeah, it's funny that, well, they get upset with the media when they don't do what they want, but it's funny that they support corporations. They're very selective.
Yeah. It's crazy. Sorry, I was reading the comments section, Tim. I wasn't listening to you then. Sorry.
I see that Monica Schmidt's in the chat.
Who's that?
You don't know Monica Schmidt?
Oh yeah, Monica Schmidt. G'day, Monica. Is it the real Monica? Isn't she almost wrapping up the end of her court case?
It's been going on for about 3 weeks now.
If you want to jump on this show, we'll give you like 5 minutes if you want to say anything. There'll be a link in the comment section. I wonder if that came through. If she's still there, she might not even be there still. Check the YouTube. But yeah, so like if you look at this White Rose Society, they're like they called me a Proud Boy fascist and a white supremacist. Well, I'm a member of the Libertarian Party. Like, so how can I be a fascist and a member of the Libertarian Party?
And the Labour State Secretary, Kate Flanders, I called you an anti-Semite Islamophobe.
I'm pretty sure she's the chick who approved my ticket. So it's like, because like I've got an email, I've got all these emails of proof of what happened. And on these emails, it says, so my mate like screenshotted and sent me the emails. I don't know if I can't remember. He either forwarded to me and screenshotted them to me. At the bottom of official Labor emails, it says you're not allowed to share this. So I haven't like shared it as like this is the official proof I didn't trespass. I got my ticket fair and square. I'm not going to show the real document, but I've got I'm pretty sure it's this chick on the email. So it's like,
That's why she hasn't reported you to police.
Exactly. That's why there's no police investigation. There's no trespass. As soon as I got to this event, I was like, once I got there, we didn't expect any protests. We thought we were just going for dinner. I recognized the police officer in the crowd from a pro-life event from like 2 weeks earlier. I was like, hey, mate, how you going? Remember me from the other event? And I was like, you did a good job there. And I was like, how do I get in? And he's like, you're going to have to go straight through that crowd, straight through there. I'm like, what? Through the sign up the stairs? Yeah, mate. And I was like, all right, no worries. Catch you later. Thanks, buddy. Like I spoke to all the cops there. I spoke to this lady. When I got there, I spoke to this Sheila who's calling me names. And I'm like, hey, I'm Dusty from Sensor TV. Thanks for getting me my ticket, essentially.
Okay, do you want to do an
interview? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Kate Flanders. I'd have to double check, but I'm pretty sure it was that chick. Where does it say Kate Flanders? Is that on this one? Yeah, Miss Flanders. And then get this. So it says, The event was incredibly stressful because party members were being assaulted, which that's true, and abused as they entered the venue. I can't really see because there's this little arrow thing. Including a 95-year-old Indigenous elder, Miss Flanders said. So as we left the venue, that guy, this 95-year-old Aboriginal guy who did the Welcome to Country, he's there with his, I don't know, daughter, granddaughter in the wheelchair, and they're like, oh, we're just waiting for things to calm down outside. And then we walked down and they were like, could you escort us out the building? And I was like, I'm really sorry, but we're not going to do that. It might be best for you to get the police to help you escort your granddad out of the building because there's a cop standing right there. I was like, speak to these guys, heaps of cops here. They'll walk you to your car. So it's like crazy how this whole story is a complete lie. No one's honest and no one's telling the truth. No one's saying what happened.
And the people who are like attacking Kate Flanders and Queensland Labor for letting you in. There's a large crossover with them who were protesting the event, trying to disrupt it, like claiming you're the national security risk when they were being aggressive and blocking the entry outside of an event where the Prime Minister and the Premier was.
It was like, I remember when ScoMo came to Brisbane and he got treated horribly too. They tried to throw red paint at him. And it's the same people. It's I mean, we exposed this. So it must have been four years ago. We went to a Labor Day march. And who's marching in the Labor Day march? The Australian Communist Party. So we went and confronted them. The following year, the Australian Communist Party rebranded to the Australian Socialist Alliance, right? So now the Australian Socialist Alliance, they were the guys right at the front door of this elbow dinner. Like, it's them. They got their signs. Like, everyone knows the Australian Socialist Alliance is the Communist Party. They're probably like Trotskyite globalists, right? That's what they are. But, and they've done so much. Every stupid, retarded, aggressive, violent protest in Brisbane, it's these guys. It's these small group of about 20.
What is it? West End is like, that's the communist suburb in Brisbane, I recall.
I guess so. I think there's only like 20 main Socialist Alliance people, and then they sort of rope in. It's like the sugar theory, like whatever if it's climate change, if it's a gay rights thing, if it's a vegan thing, if it's free the refugees, if it's Palestine, whatever the thing is, it's the same 20 guys organizing the events, the rallies, the protests, and then bringing people in. They use Facebook. You know what I mean? They've never been deplatformed. It's the whole operation is just for the public to see. And they're like, when someone's pushing you, grabbing you, everyone I spoke to at this Labor dinner got kicked. They said, I was kicked in the shins. I was shoved. I was pushed. I was abused. What's the next step? Fists start flying. If someone's pushing you, spitting at you, kicking you, and abusing you, I'm amazed these people haven't been punched in the face. Like, it's just a matter of time. The police stand there, watch it happen. This is what I was getting at with the National Socialist Network who protest in Brisbane, who were treated. This is the first time I've really seen unfair policing where you've got these guys. I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. But I doubt they were abusing people, pushing, shoving, and spitting on people. You know what I'm saying?
Well, there was a pro-Palestine rally that was blocking the traffic later that morning.
I would imagine that the police knew that protest was happening and that the whole thing was to like get them guys out of the city to stop a confrontation. Like, I'd imagine that's like I've only ever had good contact with Brisbane police over 4
Well,
years
'cause
during
you're
all
very
the COVID, all the events. I've never had a problem. I've never seen. It's sort of like the ante's been upped. You know what I mean? Like it really has.
Oh, it's because like the National Socialist Network are like public enemy number one. Like both sides of politics can't condemn them enough. They're passing new laws to ban the swastika and the Nazi salute and any other associated National Socialist symbols.
Mm, mm.
Um,
Like I'm not a national socialist. I'm not a Marxist. I think, but I like what I say. This is what I say, and I believe this. So I bought a house 14 years ago, I think 12 years ago, something like that. And I got married. I finished school. I just a labourer, start working, start saving for a home deposit. Got married. We've had kids, and it was kind of easy enough to live the Australian dream. Like 10 years ago, it was achievable. Right now, it's unachievable. So, what do young people or people who I was young and I was in a Christian environment, and I was like, there was a clear pattern and things to do and get this shit sorted out, like buy a house, get married, blah, 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 blah. Some people didn't have that pattern so easily, laid out for them. I did. I can imagine a lot of people right now going, fuck, I'll never buy a home. It's so unaffordable. The economy's not good. And what do they look to? They look to Marxism or National Socialism as this is an alternative way to manage the economy where I could have potentially, be able to live the life that I think 10 years ago you could obtain. So the government, Labor and Liberal, have run the country down. They've created all these Marxists and National Socialists. You created them because you fucked the economy up. Like, fix the economy
and
up.
also shutting down the economy for 2 years. That's certainly because even the Director General of ASIO, Mike Burgess, who's nicknamed Mike Penis Head because, well, that's how his head is shaped, has said that during COVID's people spent lots of time online reading conspiracy theories, going down the rabbit hole. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was shit, man. I had my first kid like during COVID. I was like, right, we're ready to have children. And we saved like 50 grand and we're like ready to go, ready for my missus, to go and live on one income for a bit kind of thing. And COVID hit and it's like I was working 3 days a week and we spent, the economy was shut down and all the savings just went, "Oh." And I was like, luckily I had a plan. And if I didn't have that plan set up financially, I would have ruined myself. But we burned through the majority of our savings. It wasn't good. How do they expect a lot of Australians feel when the economy was shut down for 2 years? They were treated horribly. Now inflation and house prices, and they pumped 1 million immigrants into this country. It's disgusting. Like, it's absolutely disgusting. I'm not going to sit there and blame nationals. I'm not going to talk shit on National Socialist or Marxist. I can see how people, and I think they're probably a minority, and there's like a sleeping giant of everyday Australians who are, should be fed up of the mismanagement in the economy and the whole situation. Like, there's a lot more people who should be actively expressing that.
The politicians were able to sell the COVID lie that it was this super deadly disease. Though then everyone got it and was like, "Oh, is that all?"
I've never been vaccinated, never had the jab. I got COVID one time. My missus and kids were two boys, and my missus had COVID, and they were buggered. They seemed to be like pretty buggered. I was like, whoa, that's sick. I'm positive with COVID. I was like, they're sleeping. I'm like in the gym doing weights. I'm sitting in the backyard having a stubby, sitting in the sun with my shirt off, going, "This isn't so bad." You know what I mean? It was just, it seemed like bullshit to me. I've had worse daycare germs. I want to get to one of these comments, which I think is like pretty good. Something about, here we go. The Aussie dream seems to be the Indian, Muslim, Filipino, Chinese, and every other non-white dream. Now, get this. I'm a concrete. I've been concreting for 18 years. A workmate of mine, a Filipino guy, just retired 3 weeks ago. So he said he bought his house 20 years ago for $75,000, right? He earned, at the time, he earned $45,000 a year, he reckons. Now his house is worth $900,000. And he's like, yeah, it's great. And I said, mate, what about, I said, now they've fucked this country. They've pumped in that many immigrants. We're all immigrants. I'm an immigrant from New Zealand. He's from the Philippines. I'm talking at the same time. I'm talking to my Indian workmate and a Vietnamese workmate. I was like, what about our kids? What about your kids, mate? How much does your son earn? His son's now a tradesman. He's like, my son's on like 80 grand a year, 85 grand a year. I was like, and to buy a house, to buy your house is about 850, 10 times his yearly income to buy his house. My mate, it was 1.5 years at the time of buying a house 20 years ago. It was 1.5 years work of his income to buy his house. So that shows you in 20 years how out of step wages and house prices are. Even the immigrants, even all these, that first generation of immigrants that came through in the 80s, 90s, 2000, and they've got kids, their kids are going to be like forever renters. They've screwed, we're just pumping people. A lot of people coming into the country are going to be forever renters, never own a property. They're just tax slaves.
The green communists want. So who's one of the Greens up there? Max Chandler Mader. Like the Greens, they want, when they say social housing, they mean socialist housing, because they want, well, and there's that, there's that, what's his name? Purple Pingers down in Melbourne, who is a communist who advocates people squat in empty houses. He's got, have you seen him? He's got the most punchable face. He got featured on the project because of course they love.
Yeah. And he's telling people to go squat in like empty rental properties or investment properties, shit like that.
Yeah, he's disgusting, most disgusting looking communist.
It's just retarded. Like, we want people to buy a home. I want people to be able to do what I did 10 years ago. Buy a home comfortably. Like, I'm just a laborer. I just work for a concreting company. And I was able to buy a home. I saved up and paid for a diamond ring and an amazing wedding, which, like, we spent maybe 20 grand on a wedding and a honeymoon in Thailand. And, you know, like, we've traveled, we've lived a great life. We got to save a shitload of money before we even had our first kid. We want to have more children. But I was able to do it. Like 15 years ago, 10 years ago, you could do it. You had to work hard, do some overtime. I've always, had a side hustle, worked an extra job, but like I failed in school. I cheated on every test. I was semi-illiterate, and I could make it in this country now, and I could buy a home. I could pay off a home. I could do these things. What are these fucking young people going to do? Just work like slaves and never own nothing? To me, it's disgusting. Now, and they're like, they call me a white supremacist and far right. Is it far right to say that? Like, let's wind it back. We need to stop immigration. Don't let another person in until house prices and wages are back to the way they were. Like when my workmate says 20 years ago, I bought a house for a year and a half of my wages for 75 grand and he earned 40 grand or whatever. Like, if we get back to there and everyone can buy a house and that's the situation, let's start, you know what I mean? Like, let's get back to there. Prioritize that shit. These people running the show are scumbags.
They claim, oh, we need immigrants to build the homes, but where are they going to live? But the thing is, they also claim we need immigrants to fill job vacancies, but they're jobs that are in what you call non-productive, like in the National Disability Insurance scam, and also childcare, which is basically just so they can they're obsessed, governments, about workforce participation, having more women working, so just dump your children in childcare, but they need to employ people to look after them. And then there's obviously aged care, where back in the old days, people looked after their own parents in their twilight years. Now they're just dumped in aged care. Fred Nile called childcare day orphanages, and well, my own term for aged care homes is slow burn euthanasia clinics.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's like,
And the government is like funds most of the wages and that, so nothing's actually being produced.
yeah, nothing's being produced. It's all like, it's like all are we, and then they want to push like this green agenda, and what do they want to do? We're going to shut down all the mines. Like, we're not going to shut down the mines because you need all this extra bloody lithium, and you need all this extra stuff for your electric cars and blah blah blah. They've said we need 10 times more mines to go green, and like, how is that green? But like, so yeah, like, we're living off royal. I think there's probably a substantial part of tax revenue raises coming from the mining sector. It has to be, because what else is, where are they getting the taxes from?
That's why the treasurer, Dr. Jim Chalmers, you know what his PhD is? Why is he a doctor?
What's he a doctor in?
He's a doctor on Paul Keating. That's what he did his PhD on. I think your premier is also a doctor as well, Dr. Stephen Miles. His PhD was in union renewal.
Holy shit, that's just retarded.
Again,
how's that even?
Well, yeah, how's that?
Even?
Yeah, that's not contributing to to economic activity.
I can't believe it's not even a real degree. Like, it's disgusting.
Is anyone here a doctor? I am, but I'm a doctor of Paul Keating and trade unionism.
Should we? What are a few of these?
Oh, there's another super chat over on Rumble. Yeah.
Holy Jesus.
Yeah, can you see it?
Russ Chad. Tim's a good guess, but he needs to get right with Jesus. Tim's lifestyle is against God. How are you going with faith, Tim? Have you moved any closer to faith at all, or not?
I'm still an atheist.
Really?
Yeah.
Not even agnostic?
No, I don't believe it's possible that God exists.
Okay. That's
I probably more believe in aliens, extraterrestrials.
Yeah. Like, I seen, I believe I saw a UFO in 2006, broad daylight, midday. My boss were driving in this truck, and he's like, "What the hell's that?" And I'm like, "That looks like a flying saucer, like typical what you see in the movies." And like, I became a Christian, but I think something that I think could maybe move you closer to believing in God, but like, is there a multiverse? Is there multiple dimensions? Like, they speculate on like evolution, and they go like
that Marvel invented to keep the franchise going.
But like Dawkins and stuff, he would be like, if they would say, "Oh, look, to get the right amount of mutations for us to get here through evolution, natural selection, it would take like." It's almost like they're like, it seems like that would require, for it to be fueled by chance or, natural selection, sexual selection,
Well,
it seems statistically improbable, and that's why I think Dawkins and that have suggested a multiverse where they're like, there's actually almost an infinite amount of, say, universes, and then we're just the one lucky one. So if you increase the amount of
we don't
multiverses,
know
it goes, oh
how
well, we are the
we
lucky
don't know
one.
how big time and space is. We're,
Mm.
as far as we know, the only planet that can sustain life.
That's crazy. Like, to me, that's crazy. We're life. I'm a conscious being. You're a conscious being. We know consciousness is real. So then for me to say, if I'm conscious, you're conscious, we're conscious people communicating, I believe then through even knowing that, isn't it reasonable to suggest that there's another form of intelligent consciousness outside of the human mind? Like, I think that's
Well,
completely
my
plausible.
response to that is, well, if God exists, who created God?
Yeah, I mean, I believe, I do think the multiverse kind of got me to believe in God as well, because you go, if there's like a billion other big bangs, each big bang created its own laws of thermodynamics, its own, essentially they're their own dimension, because they're not even, each big bang creates a completely whole new set of rules, right? So if you have an infinite amount of big bangs running that are actually completely different to ours, it, to then say like, is there other, and there would have to be other intelligence in other big bang scenarios in the multiverse. Are they intelligent? Are they more advanced than ours? Have they interacted with our dimension?
Well, yeah,
Then we get
that's
into
yeah,
aliens,
yeah,
gods.
yeah. Well, this is the thing about the like multiverse. How do you travel in between dimensions? Again, it's only something that's been explored or created in science fiction. I know in
Mm,
Doctor Who they had, well, they called them parallel universes.
yeah. Because like, if people have experiences, like, I believe I saw a flying saucer. I think I may have seen like a ghost or something, right? So I'm quite open minded, because it's like I've had an experience. I can't explain it. I sort of had an
I'm
experience,
not
right?
a believer in ghosts.
I believe I saw when I was younger, like, so, I mean, look, so we used to smoke a lot of pot. We lived in this house. We lived in this house, and the house, a guy had killed himself in the house, right? So, like, I knew this. I wouldn't even tell everyone, but other people would be like, dude, I can't stay here. I've seen like something. I have a weird feeling. I'm seeing these something. I'm going home. I had like multiple friends would leave my house in the middle of the night and go.
I'd
3 o'clock, wake me up, I'm
I'd,
going.
I'd so want to be in a like murder house, suicide house.
Yeah, yeah. It was, in that environment, I do believe I sort of like experienced something multiple times. I can't explain what it was, but it did definitely made me more open minded. You know what I'm saying? And like, all I'm saying is, if there's a multiverse, we don't know how, but if have intellectual consciousness, we're communicating. That's real. People have unexplained, encounters of different kinds, and that also is aliens, ghosts, and religious experiences. What's to say that there's some interaction between different dimensions or multiverses? Like, I'm open minded to this. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the reason I'm probably most open minded to aliens is just because, well, I like there's this ever-ending curiosity: are we alone in the universe? I actually interviewed on my Wilms Front program Mary Rodwell, the alien lady. She's based up in your state of Queensland. So she's
Cool.
spoken to people who've had paranormal experiences. She was even in the Netflix series UFO. It was called something like UFO Secrets Declassified.
Nice. That's sick. We need to get her back on here. We
Well,
need
you
to
could have
bring.
her on censored TV.
I would be so keen to get her on because, like, I just think that people who wrote the Bible and I think even like Muhammad might have had an experience. These Jews might have had experience. People who, could write, they learned to write and they had a tool to record experiences. And that as soon as we have a tool to then record their experiences, why the fuck do people start writing about out out there stuff? Like if you're going to start writing, aren't you going to be like, this is how you clean water, this is how you cook a delicious meal, like a succulent Chinese meal, like this is how you build this. Like, wouldn't you use writing to write textbooks and shit first and explain stuff? Like, why
That's all they
people start writing just abstract experiences of the spiritual nature? Like, it seems wild. And why,
That's all they had back then. That's also the other curious thing, that humans have existed for thousands of years, yet we only invented electricity like it's less than 200 years ago, and photography, printing press, and then
everything.
videotape. Like there's a record of everything now.
Yeah.
And
then, like, so what about the Pentagon? So I mean, like, even the alien stuff to me just opens up. Like, the Pentagon has released footage from an aircraft carrier and
they call them UAPs.
UAPs,
Yeah,
and it's like the best
unidentified
tech has
aerial.
recorded it. Like the best technology is like that we have. The military has is like we're recording it, we're looking at it. It's got multiple. We've got 10 different of the most awesome systems that are like recording what's happening. It's like, this is real. The guy's looking at it, all this technology's recording it. It's like, this shit's real. We know now it's real. It has to be real. Like, there's no undeniable that there's something there now. And then we can say, well, cool, what is it? Like, is it government technology? Is it like
there's speculation the US military has been, it's called reverse engineering alien technology. And what is the US has tested some of their experimental military aircrafts at a place called I think it's pronounced Exmouth. It's on the far north coast of Western Australia, far northwest, like sort of near Geraldton, Port Hedland.
Yeah. Nice. So they're testing their experimental tech in Western Australia.
They've been doing that for like 30 years.
Mad. But are they testing TikToks and like, the thing that I saw?
Well, this is really strong. So
the thing that I saw was a classic silver flying saucer. So it's like, that's what I saw.
There's one. It's like a diamond craft. Let me look it up. What is it?
I mean, there's like the Bob Lazar thing. How like, I mean, once we get to that point where we go, right, UFOs, then you go, have you got like interdimensional drones? Like there's definitely ancient biblical stories of like fallen angels and angels coming down and breeding with women and making giants. And like even that story from Genesis is in like multiple other ancient stories outside of like Jewish tradition, or you know what I mean. There's local also. It's so there's like, I mean, the Greek gods, the Roman gods, the Scandinavian gods, like all these gods, there's a very similar theme happening. The Vedas, it seems like to me, like once we go these UFOs, UAPs, whatever the fuck you want to call them, we go, that seems to be real. Then we can like, then go, okay, what are they? We like, my mind's open. We have to become more open minded. Like I can't, and but it also gives me pretty good hope because like I know we're sitting here and we go, oh, the fucking economy's bad and house prices are bad and all the shit. But then you got to go, all right, are we gonna like crack the code next year and 10 years time, and we're gonna work out like a fusion reactor, unlimited energy? Are we going to be able to be like get to this point where there's just unlimited, almost free energy, and then is it just going to radically change our fortunes of all people alive? You know what I'm saying? So, and especially when you're talking about a UFO with crazy tech flying around, we're definitely like, I don't know why people are like, you got Jews and Muslims who are like step cousins wanting to murder each other. You got Russians and Ukrainians who are like brothers killing each other. And it's like almost World War III breaking out, and everyone's wanting like this get thrown in the meat grinder. The aliens are welcome at mine for a barbecue, beers, and some backyard.
Find a photo of that. I can't remember what it's called.
Was Zeus really riding a golden chariot across the sky, or could it be a golden reflective UAP they saw? I know. I'm fucking telling you. So you're a believer in aliens, Tim?
I'm not. I'm open-minded.
And wouldn't that make you more open-minded to gods? Like, are the people's experience of the past encounters with extraterrestrial beings
because there's never been any evidence that a god exists, while there's been circumstantial evidence that UFOs exist.
Could just be one and the same. Could be one and the same thing. Like it's essentially the same thing. We could have been like the planet could have been terraformed. Like Genesis is like a terraforming the planet scenario, life getting seeded on the planet. The Garden of Eden is like the laboratory, and then bang, we get left on this, planet all on our own to work it out. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not a far, and like I don't want to reduce the spiritual element of the religious side of it, because I think like once we open our mind up to these possibilities, we're sort of like, what about the idea like 90, they say 90% of your brain's not even getting used? Like, is there like a sixth sense, a spiritual sense that we're not even tapping into, like that part of our biology that is like, there's an interfacing part of, is that faith? Is that, you know what I mean? Like, say if I have faith, I believe I pray for stuff. I pray for people to get healed. I try to be optimistic. I'm a believer. And it's like, am I tapping into a sixth sense, the spiritual nature, which could be a part of design? We could have been, we could have a terraformed planet. We could be the product of a, seeded. We could be the product of intelligent design from an extraterrestrial. There could be
Should I open up?
Fucking crack it open, Tim Wilms. Even though we're gonna like wrap it up soon.
Oh, we? Then I won't. Then I won't open it.
You animal, you machine. Rock a
'Cause
beer bomb.
it's the first
We've
time
actually had like a lot of people tuning in tonight. 67 people. I don't think there's 12, I think, viewing from you. So, okay,
we're
64.
actually competing against Joel, Blair, and Tom now.
We
We
got
could
64 people watching on Twitter.
we
So
could do we could do a thing where we play
watch
their
them.
stream and react.
Yeah, do like Monday Night Wars. Old what's his name?
Commentary
Eric
on-
Bischoff used to do that. Eric Bischoff Monday Night Wars on WCW would like pull out the TV and they'd like watch WWE on WCW. Like it was a tactic.
What is it? Nick Fuentes does like commentary on the live debates.
Yeah, Nick Fuentes.
He's declared another Groper war on
Milo.
Oh no, on Trump. Well, the first one wasn't really on Trump. It was more on the conservatives who'd co-opted the Trump administration, Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA. Like, remember all of them? They were mainly Catholic gropers. Kept asking Charlie Kirk, "Why do we give all this money to Israel if we're America first?"
Why do we give? They're just so like war hungry, I guess. They want war everywhere. Here's Milo.
Yeah,
Milo has declared himself the new owner of the new boss at Censored TV.
Yeah, he is apparently your new boss now.
So like, I've received internal emails from this, like sent to me from like pretty much like the leadership team of Censored TV. They sent it to me and it was like, I was like, oh, it appears to be real in one sense. And then now I've started to receive emails directly from Milo. So it's like I haven't really like asked directly what the hell's going on. But like it's funny as fuck. And it would be like
because he doesn't have the best history at financial management.
Apparently Kanye got him to come and take a look at the books and like manage his finances and
Milo's books.
Apparently Milo's managing Kanye's books and he's realized how Kanye's spending like $200 million a year. And Milo's like helping him rein that in.
Well, how much did he like? Because Milo back in his when he was at the top of his game, he was spending a lot. He used to post receipts live online.
Milo needs to release a porno fucking abroad to prove he's straight.
Yeah. Well, there's no. Well, also he just claims that he's not a. Well, we've got to be careful what we say in Australia that because of the laws here.
So you can't say faggot anymore, or what?
No, I'm saying that you can't claim that homosexuality is curable because of our conversion therapy laws. So
they say someone's like bisexual. They say like, oh, people are bisexual or blah blah blah.
He's claimed that he's no longer having sex with men. Yeah. He's no longer a man who has sex with men, which is also the demographic which in Western countries is the almost exclusive carriers and receivers of monkeypox, which is another, what is it? A global public health emergency of international concern. The gobbledygook that they said from the WHO.
So monkeypox transmitted by homosexuals? Is that
in the West? The medical term they use, men who have sex with men, because it's skin to skin contact and like obviously.
So it's like the new AIDS.
Except monkeypox is very unlikely to kill you, and you recover from it. But those who've suffered from it say it's a 10 out of 10 for pain because it's lesions and scabs on their genitals and anus.
And this is like now, didn't the World Health Organization, I don't know, did they recently declare this is like a pandemic?
No, not a pandemic. What's the exact terminology is? Yeah, so it is a public health emergency of international concern because it's a new, well, they don't call it a variant, it's a new clade, more contagious variant, clade 1b. Yeah, and
Well,
that's
Milo's lucky. He's lucky he's not
spreading amongst sex workers in the Democratic Republic of the Congo.
That's where like AIDS came from. They say.
Well,
I've heard it said.
In Africa also came from monkeys.
People shagging monkeys.
Well, that's the hypothesis, but it's more that, say, like hunter-gatherers touch the infected like blood of a dead monkey.
Okay.
That's the more,
because like there is that video that's floating around of the guys eating the monkeys. Have you seen that? The dude's just like eating the fried monkey brains.
no.
I'll say.
Yeah, don't play it.
It's all over Twitter. Eating monkey brains. Monkey. Will it come up? That's a big fat monkey eating. That's what we get when we. This is where AIDS came from. This is the story of AIDS, people. What a selfish.
It's interesting they have monkeys in Southeast Asia, yet there hasn't been this like spillover.
I remember when I went to Thailand, there was like monkeys. It was sort of seemed that like the monkeys were sitting there on the beach. This is on my honeymoon, sitting there on the beach, and the lady with the monkey comes up, and he like full jumped on me, like a good 2-meter jump, and he's just like running around on me, and he sort of like sees my Mrs. Sunnies. He's like, oh, runs off to grab the Sunnies. It's like they
like there's a city in Thailand. It's like it has a huge like monkey criminal gang problem. Like forget it's like Mexican drug cartels. It's like these marauding gangs of like criminal monkeys.
Fuck yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
But
like
yeah,
if we're bringing in illegal aliens and we're bringing in mass migration, I want import monkeys. Like I want fucking dump 50 monkeys on Brisbane City, just let them go through the bins like bin chickens and steal people's shit. Like that would be, I would be making content every day.
the thing,
crime report would be chasing monkeys down. Know what I'm saying?
But in Thailand, they don't like summarily execute them, which they I reckon they should. They've got these slings which they like hit them with.
Oh, that's hectic. And because they're like Buddhist over there, they don't really like they don't like to fuck with animals that much. You know what I mean? I don't know. They probably do. I went to Thai Fantasy, which was like this zoo kind of entertainment buffet / show, and there was like, I was like, this is so sick, all these tigers and animals, and then I was like, hang on a minute, that was fucked up, like the smallest thing close. It was like not inhumane, it was cruelty to animals. Like it took like you kind of go, this is sick, and you have such a great time, and then you wake up the next day and you're like, that fucking tiger was like in the smallest cage and it was disgusting. You know what I mean? So it was pretty, even though they're Buddhists, they're supposed to look after animals or think about that shit. You know what I mean? They're supposed to be a bit more mindful Obviously, they got to feed their kids, which is God bless them.
Well, they have, what is it, those national parks in Africa where there's just the tigers that that just set themselves up on the road.
Yeah,
The lions, I should say.
that's fucking sick. Like a drive-through safari, and they're just roaming free. Hectic.
Well, we sort of have that here with the kangaroos.
Birds aren't real. What do you reckon about dinosaurs? Dinosaurs are real.
Oh yeah, a archaeology genealogy is proven it.
They're absolutely real.
Well, they were real.
They were real. So, like, because this is the thing about like aliens and all this shit too. But so we started life 3 billion years ago. Seems that the first dominant species was dinosaurs, at least, and that would have been, I think, 3 billion years is human life. Maybe humans been around that long, or is it just life in general? But multiverse scenario, how do you know other big bangs didn't start 50 billion years ago? How do you know that if we're 13 billion years, this big bang, how do you know another? What happens if 90% of the other big bangs are 100 billion years older than us? Do you know what I mean? So they'll be way more evolved.
Exploded.
You glitched out. I missed that.
The sun could have already exploded.
The sun could have exploded, and that's why it would make sense that if they're more evolved, that they'd work out a way to travel into.
Because that's how. Yeah, because the world will eventually end when the sun explodes.
And then by then, hopefully, we work out how to go intergalactic.
Well, what is that? They remember in the, what is that, the 60s, they all thought, I bet we'll live on flying cars on the moon. And then you fast forward to 2020, your lollies are racist.
We got nowhere. We're fucked. But this is it, like dinosaurs. If a dinosaur couldn't evolve intelligence to get to the point of like lizard man in the Garden of Eden talking snake scenario, just impossible. Like it could have like evolution. There's nothing to say that evolution couldn't produce other intelligent species. Like it's an unlimited, yes, natural selection, sexual selection drives.
Well, monkeys are the closest to us in terms of, well, intelligence. We just talked about it.
Yeah, dolphins, octopus, and monkeys.
Because what makes us distinguishable from most other species on Earth is our ability to reason.
Yeah, reason. I heard it's something to do with like having thumbs helped us evolve. But anyway, yeah, I'm just getting to the point where dinosaurs are real. Lizards, how come we don't have evolved lizard? I mean, evolved lizard people. Every time I turn on the news and I see a politician, and it's like they forget how to walk. Like they don't even know how to walk, Tim. They walk from one, part of the stage to the next. Like 90% of politicians, they don't even know how to walk. They're like a lizard.
Joe Biden, I completely forgot. Like how he got into a room, like, because remember his biggest issue was like, which way do I go out? Although there's been some politicians who've like tried to get out of like where a door doesn't exist. It's not just Biden. Like they forget how they came into the room.
Yeah, they're not even like blind drunk. Like I know, like having kids now, and you go through these phases. Like my boy, he just had tonsils, adenoids, and grommets done. 3-in-1 surgery, right? And for like 6 months, I was getting 4 or 5 hours sleep a night, and that makes you turn retarded. Like I was like walking a room and go, how the fuck? I was turning into like you get like baby brain. It's like you go through
Yeah,
a phase of dementia.
politicians. Yeah, they don't get to sleep much.
So they turn into retards and they forget even how to like shuffle through reality.
Or like they can just stop walking. Full stop, like Barnaby Joyce ending up on.
Yeah. He's a fucking. He's like a kind of Donald Trump, as in like everything's just water off a duck's back with him. Like nothing sticks. Every politician needs to learn from him.
Oh, as he got into trouble the other week, and I think he was sober for saying to anti-wind farm protesters, you should use your ballot paper as your as a bullet, and like to shoot.
Yeah. And then that was a bit inappropriate after the Trump assassination to reference using your ballot as a bullet.
Yeah, well, you probably can't say, oh, we're ready to lock and load now. They still haven't. We don't know any more about the nerd who nearly assassinated Trump, Thomas Matthew Crooks. I mean, the only bit of info that we've got is from TMZ, where they uncovered a video where he claimed that he had a 10-inch penis.
He's like Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
Oh well, yeah. TMZ they got the original footage of Crooks on the roof.
Really?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
the gossip website.
They are the real tabloids where like freedom of speech. They were like that's where I thought the internet was gonna go. Like when I first got an iPhone, I thought this is gonna be Zoom magazines, Jackass, and like tabloid drama.
Well, yeah,
we all went political, which is kind of gay in a way.
Yeah, the National Enquirer. That's gold standard tabloid news. They're the ones that claimed that the mystery man who was with Lee Harvey Oswald before he allegedly shot dead JFK was Ted Cruz's father.
Ah, true.
Yeah, like. Yeah,
what do you reckon, Tim? Should we like wrap this up? Because then if we keep going longer, then we're like an hour is good. An hour 15 is good. What do you reckon?
Yeah.
Because we want to do it more often, so we don't want to like burn ourselves out where we're sitting here for 2 hours, snacking beers all night. Because we like wrap it up. We'll keep a tight ship because we want to do it more often, and we want to bring different people on. You're more than welcome. I'd love you to be like a co-host if you ever want to do something together, but I'll bring you on as often as you would like to come on, Tim, because you're a wealth of knowledge. And I just want to say to everyone, Tim's been at this for years. He's been kicking goals. Yeah, but I've been a bit less consistent. I've been on and off, and I've been on censored TV behind a paywall, and you've been streaming. You know the news. You know what's happening politically, and you've been at this shit for a long time. You deserve, in Australia, Tim deserves a lot of cred. You get that full respect from me, mate.
Well, yeah, what can I say? I'm a full news nerd.
You're a news nerd, and the world needs you. I only need one Tim.
Oh, yeah, what's actually the news? Not like I don't have because places like Sky News, Fox News, they have talking points which their hosts read off.
It's gay. It's the biggest problem with society right now. Like, this is why I joined the Libertarian Party, because I think, at least in the branches and what I've seen inside the party, I've been a member for 6 months. And this is something you do, I think I do. Censored TV does it. We think for ourselves. We don't need the talking points. The talking points are garbage. I don't want your Marxist, commie, left wing, right wing talking points. I'm sick of that shit. I just want. The thing is, it's like we need to be able to think about things. That stop getting someone else. Talking points is just getting someone else to do the thinking for you.
Yeah, and
saying
what you think people want to hear.
Yeah, it's just bull crap. And I know, like, this is the thing about YouTube tonight, where we probably, when we do Thirsty Thursdays and I didn't drop out, if you're watching from YouTube, please subscribe to my Rumble, because when we do Thirsty Thursdays, we are going to, I didn't do it tonight, but we're going to tap out of YouTube, because to actually do some thinking, it's not about talking. We have to think about things, and then we need to talk about it. And then we come up with this is what we've been trained to do, the opposite. We've been trained to listen to talking points and regurgitate talking points. It's got us into a mess as a society, and that's the problem with White Rose Society and the mainstream media and these politicians. It's not working. It's leading us down a horrible path. I don't do a live stream on Censored. I do a show, Man on the Street show, where I go to protests and events. I can do it weekly, but I'm like, I've done about 6 months, 7 months of weekly shows on Censored TV, and I'm going to back that off, and I'm going to start doing a little bit more live streaming. That's my plan, because I enjoy live streaming. But yeah, and Tim might join me.
Yeah, like I said, I'm open to coming on Thursdays. It's easier to do someone else's stream because you just let them do all the tech stuff and and provide the topics. So with you, you just go wherever.
We just go where we need to go, which is the best thing ever. Like, we can
Where
find a few articles is all we need. The fewer the better, because by the time you go on some tangents, it's like we need to.
Oh yeah, we're on a big tangent.
Aliens. We need to go God.
The multiverse. Where else did we go?
Lizard people.
No, I don't think we got there yet. Maybe next time.
I was hinting at it. I was slowly getting us into the. That was the politicians can't even walk. You know, that was my subtle. That lizard people. You know, but
I thought that we sort of like concluded it's because they're sleep deprived.
Yeah. They are. They're probably sleeping. Babbitt reckons that. When I seen Babbitt last, I was like, "Are you going to stick at this and, go another term?" And he's like, "Well, it's like copping the biggest pay rise." He reckons like the hours you work, it's like a minimum wage job. Like when you break it down. So yeah, shit. Right, Tim. I appreciate you every time I have you on, mate, and I hope you come back as often as you can. You're always welcome, mate. Thanks, everyone who tuned in. Make sure you follow Tim Wilms on Rumble and X and Telegram. I think I put the link for his Rumble in the description below. It should have, if StreamYard did its job, the link should be there.
On X and Telegram as well, all the good places.
Yeah, this is like the big one of the main reasons I want to start live streaming more, because we've got Rumble now, we've got X now, we have a place where we can stream, where we have a bit more freedom. So we have to use it. I want to use it. That's why I want to stream more regularly on a Thursday night.
Telegram's being a bit lame. Like they're blocking on Apple and Google devices all of the interesting channels.
Yeah, and they're kicking them off. They're deplat.
Oh, they're not kicking them off, but you can't access them unless you use web Telegram, which hardly anyone uses.
Yeah, it's fucking gay. And them same pages you could follow on X, is that right?
Yeah, though X still permanently
Reduce your reach and stuff like that.
has permanently suspended people like
Gavin
Kanye
McGuinness.
and Thomas Sowell and Mark Collette and a few other people.
Right. Gavin got the boot maybe a month ago.
From X. What did he do?
Nothing. They just worked out that he was back. That's what Gavin reckons. He reckons they were just like, oh, he's back. He just flew under. He was on there for about 8 months. He was flying under the radar. He had about 80,000 followers. It was going off. Jared Taylor. He's obviously been booted on X. Yeah, they haven't let Jared Taylor did a great interview with, I think it was Jim Goad. That was one of them. I can't remember.
What about
anyway,
David Duke? Is he like? Cause
he
was on,
David Duke did an interview with Jim Goad on.
I'm saying, is he back on X? He was there for a while, but I think he got perma suspended.
Yeah, and if you listen to that guy, he's like he says he's an anti-racist in actual fact. Like if you listen to what he actually believes, it's like he's not actually what people think he is. It's like most people, like everyone gets labeled and they tell us what we should think about them. You know what I mean? This is what you should think about this person. Don't listen to them. We'll deplatform them. Anyway, God bless you, Tim. We'll see you soon, eh? Thanks everyone for tuning in.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dusty.
Yeah.